Season 6 bonus episode of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bit Stealers. I'm Jonathan Litzkin, back as always without Sam Fetterman this time around.
Where is he? He's a fraud.
He's busy today. He said he would be tuning in, but yeah, this is a sort of unconventional podcast here, usually a college basketball show, but college basketball season's over. NBA playoffs start tomorrow with the final playing games tonight. Harrison, Pranav joining me to do this special episode. How are you guys?
I'm doing pretty fantastic. I mean, it's my favorite time of the year right now. You know, NBA playoffs, NFL draft, school's about to let out. Weather's getting nicer, so can't complain.
I agree. Like that transition from like Final Four to like Masters Week to like NBA and NHL playoffs where there's like 16 combined games between like Saturday and Sunday. It's the best. And then it only gets better as the rounds go on.
Yeah, Harrison, you've talked to me before about how like the NBA playoffs, like it goes on for so long that's part of what makes it great is like you get 2 months of really important basketball versus, you know, the NCAA tournament, for instance, is 3 weeks.
The NCAA like tournament boils down to like a cumulative like 6 days, maybe a little more than that, like 8 days. Mm-hmm. And where the NBA playoffs, it's like a marathon. Yeah, like some of those nights where like the game started at 6 and it goes to like midnight. That's cinema right there.
Yeah,
it's the longest playoffs I believe in all sports. Like
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the NHL gets theirs done a little quicker.
That's not a serious sport.
All right, well let's dive into some of this stuff. We're going to discuss the first round series, but first let's talk about what are some of our favorite narratives here for these playoffs. Who has the most to gain? Who has the most to lose when it comes to individual players? I want to hear your guys' take on this.
Harrison, you want to go first?
You go.
Okay, so
I think we're gonna have the same one.
Yeah, so most to gain would be, I believe, Jason Tatum being a repeat champion and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because those two guys are the head of the snake in the two favorite teams to win it all. And conversely, I think that most to lose is also Shai Gilgeous-Alexander amongst relevant players. I mean, this guy's about to win MVP. He hasn't been past the second round yet, albeit the team just recently got competitive. But now is a chance. I mean, the Thunder had the best point differential in history. The West is a nice field, but they're clearly at the top of the pack. And so there really shouldn't be any excuse other than like a freak injury not to make the finals this year. And to go out there and win it. So I think he has the most to lose while also having the most to gain, along with Tatum, because those two are on the favorite teams, with the Celtics having a chance to go back-to-back and the Thunder having a case at one of the most dominant seasons ever.
I agree with Shai. I think Shai has more almost to gain than lose because I don't think NBA fans are looking at it this way, but you look at like the long-term outlook of the Thunder, like they're going to be competitive for a long time, barring very unforeseen circumstances. So like if they don't win the title this year, like there's a very high chance they'll win it next year, the year after. Where for Tatum, like the Celtics window is obviously shorter, where Drew Holiday's up there in age. Porzingis, you never know his health. Derek White and Jalen are still on the younger side, but like windows don't last forever. I think there's more of an urgency for them to keep capitalizing where they won the title last year, co-favorites basically this year. I think there's a lot of like other players who have, or like it's almost like a sliding doors. Like I think like he's not the most important player, but like I think he's the most important 2-3 months of Jalen Williams' life.
Yeah,
like it can go totally one of two ways. Like there's a total magnifying glass on him, and he's an all-star, he's all NBA caliber player. But like if this run goes well, he's gonna be looked at as like one of the best players in the league. If it goes poorly, he's gonna be the scapegoat no matter what.
Right. No, I think I talked about that the other day. I mean, J-Dub has pretty much everything to gain and like almost everything to lose. Last year he brought like a lot of the heat for the Thunder losing, even though it wasn't really why they lost. There were other reasons that played a bigger factor, but J-Dub didn't perform well. He was a scapegoat because people did expect him to perform well. So I wouldn't even say scapegoat. He just played bad. And now he has a chance to redeem that, on a team that's a perennial title favorite. He's expected to be the second option. And so he can go out here and have a run to where no one can say anything about him again, because he's the second option after all. Like, he's not going to be the Shays of the world where you're expected to win MVPs, you're expected to rack up rings. He's the second option. He just needs one run to really change that narrative about him, which is in the mud right now. But like, I feel that he could change the narrative. But at the same time, if he goes out there and has a similar playoff run to what he did last year, I mean, he's going to take on the Heat for pretty much forever, even if the Thunder win a championship moving forward, because this is one of the best opportunities they have.
Yeah, and there's a long history in the NBA of like number 2 guys getting the blame until they finally win. Like, it's nothing new, but he is just, what's that?
I was going to bring that up.
Like, he is just in the mold right now. Like, that always happens. I think Luka's a lot more to gain than lose, because like, I don't think people actually think the Lakers can win the title. But like, if they somehow beat Oklahoma City or LA, the other LA or Denver in the conference finals, and like the Lakers go on like beat the Celtics to win the title, like the Luka stuff will hit like a totally new level. He loses the finals last year. He gets like shockingly traded midseason and then leads the Lakers to a title, beating the team he beat last year. Like, Luka would like skyrocket to like a top like 12 player in like league history. And like, people would see this as like one of the great like title runs in like history.
Yeah, I think, you know, with Luka, like, you have like this kind of collection of like this era's players where you have, you know, Giannis has a title, Jokic has a title now, although, you know, like, I know it was one of the easier titles in the last decade of basketball. But, you know, like, Luka hasn't gotten over that mountaintop, and I feel like, you know, to get to that point where, you know, people will know like him for like the 20s, but like to be in kind of that top 20 of all time category with Jokic and Giannis right now, like, getting that title would be really, really important for him. So that would personally be like mine, like, most to gain, because like I think that would catapult him into like all-time discussions.
Tatum's in the same boat too. Like, if they go back-to-back, he wins finals MVP this time around. I mean, everybody in the world except for the finals MVP voters thinks he was the best players in that series last year. The Celtics haven't won back-to-back titles since like the 60s. Like, it's been over 60 years. Like, if he's the one to do it, he's up there with Bill Russell and Larry Bird. Like, in him are the 3 best Celtics in history. I think that already might be the case, but if they win the title, like, that's definitely the case.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, he'd be in the top. He'd be in the conversation with the top like 30-ish, 20-ish players of all time, in my opinion. Already at the age of like 27.
Yeah, I agree with both of you that Luka has a lot to gain, because like, I think that although like people will pretend like the Lakers are like a serious threat to make noise, and they had an impressive like a 2-game series against OKC, but like, I just feel like they don't necessarily have all the horses to make a championship run. Like, they can make things tough for OKC, but let's say even in the event that they get past OKC, I mean, Boston's a terrible matchup for them.
No, that's Celtics.
And so I feel like, yeah, like you guys said, he has a lot to gain, because although there is talk about the Lakers being contenders, I feel like people don't necessarily really view it as such. And so there's more to gain because they're not actually a serious contender.
I think we haven't even touched on the other 1 seed, like the Cavs, yet. I don't know what they have to gain or to like lose. I'm very indifferent with. I don't take them like seriously, even though they're like the 1 seed. Like, they beat the Celtics twice in the regular season, and 4 like really good games. I don't know what the read on them is. Like, I don't think they can beat Oklahoma City.
I remember you texted me, I think back in like, or maybe I asked you back in like January. You're like, I asked you like, hey, like, what's the deal with like the Cavs? Like, and you told me like I keep kind of trying to like push it off, but like they're good. And then like I think
that's me like at the end of the year.
And then you texted me like 3 weeks later, once they started to like lose some games. You're like, yeah, like I fear they're no longer a threat.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, like you said, I don't view them as seriously as the Celtics. Like, I have immense respect for what they've done this season. I mean, 64 wins and having like a near plus 10 net rating. It's impressive stuff, but the Celtics are clearly the team to beat out East. But at the same time, I still view this as kind of like a title or bust season for Cleveland, because who knows if this is the peak of their core. I mean, they're probably not going to win over 60 games again. They very well could, but it's not a guarantee. They're probably not going to they're not guaranteed to have this good of a point differential ever again. I mean, this might be the year. I mean, everything's clicking together. They have the top offense in the league. They have arguably the defensive player of the year in Mobley, paired with another great front court player in Allen. And like all of those core guys are going to stay there for the foreseeable future. But I mean, they have the perfect complementary players this year too, with Ty Jerome, DeAndre Hunter, Max Strus. I mean, they have an abundance of wings. And so it feels like it's all coming together for them right now. But at the same time, they just aren't as good as OKC or Boston. So it's a weird dialogue. I feel like it is like title or bust, but at the same time, like no one's really gonna care if they don't win it.
Yeah, like nobody's gonna go how to like the Cavs like not win the title. Like can Spider like win the big ones? No one's gonna say that. Like people like don't care like about them like as much because nobody's like taking them seriously. But like I think if they did win the title, I'm not sure people know how to react either. Like I don't know how people would like put like Mitchell like on the all-time rankings or like none of the players in their team like at that point of their careers like Mobley was like seen as like this like inconsistent player until this year where he's like really popped off. They have really good depth. Like they're not gonna like I think Jerome as a free agent is gonna get a ton of money this offseason probably from somebody else. Like they won't be as deep next year. There could be some other moves along the roster. Like I agree, they're not gonna be I don't think they're a 60-win team next year. And it's funny they went on like win streaks of like 16 and 15 this year and still finished like 2 games above the Celtics, who like were seen as like a shaky regular season.
They had a worse net rating than the Celtics after having like a 2-point advantage throughout the entire season. Yeah.
When did like net become like this like NBA thing? Liddy and I have talked about this like last week.
I feel like probably around 2016, like it became popular when the Spurs had a better net than the Warriors, despite like the 73 wins.
I didn't know that.
And then from then on, I mean, it's just been like an accurate predictor of who wins the title. Like the Celtics had like a 6-point lead over the entire league last year. So
it's Thunder at the highest net ranking this year, like ever, right?
Second highest, yeah, behind the 96 Bulls. Yeah.
So that's good company.
Yeah.
That's they're a threat. Yeah, but I'm interested in Cleveland. I'm trying to think of other like
I feel like with the Cavs, like it would be like one of the biggest like outliers in like sport, like professional sports for like titles recently. Because like you usually think of like how NBA teams win a title. It's either, you know, you are building around this like all-time great player, or, you know, you have young players that are like coming up and like winning their first like OKC or Boston last year. Like this would be like 2004 Pistons.
Yeah.
Like that.
I think the biggest outlier title in our lifetime is the Raptors in 19. Just because it was this weird 1-year window when they had Kawhi. They literally knew they had Kawhi for 1 year.
There have been a couple weird titles recently with them, the Bucks, and the Nuggets. Although the Nuggets were pretty dominant.
But the Bucks were knocking on the door for a couple of years, and like that was a weird season. They got through like a very hobbled Nets team, and they got to like Atlanta's backups in the conference finals, and they played a pretty good Phoenix team. Like, and they also threw the best player in the world. Where this Cavs team, like, they don't have anybody like on top like 15. Like, is Mitchell like?
He's like top 15-ish.
Yeah, like that would be it would be weird. But I'm interested like in the Clip. I want to hear your Clippers thoughts because I think the Clippers are the second best team in the West.
I agree. I think that
do they instill fear in you?
I wouldn't say fear is the right word, but they're an annoyance for sure. I mean, when Kawhi is on, they're as potent as anyone on offense. I mean, Harden and Kawhi are 2 of the best isolation scorers ever, and they still got it too. Like, it's like on nights you don't really see any difference between them and their prime selves. I mean, you saw the game against the Warriors. I mean, Harden dropped almost a 40-point triple-double. Yeah. Kawhi went crazy. I mean, they have like the 2 scorers to get it done. And then their defense is really elite, probably the second best defense in the league. I mean, Zubac has played like a Depoy level interior big this year. Chris Dunn has been arguably the best perimeter defender in the sport. I mean, Kawhi has gotten healthier. He's been better. And so they just have a number of different options that they could throw at you. And in the playoffs, I mean, if you have 2 great isolation scorers, particularly one like Kawhi, who has a track record of just scaling up and playing even better in the playoffs. And then you have a plethora of defenders that you could throw maybe at a guy like Shea, and then you force the other Thunder creators to beat you. I mean, I feel like that could be an effective strategy. So although I wouldn't pick them to win the West or beat the Thunder in the second round, they're definitely a threat. I think the biggest threat, just because of the versatility that they have.
And like one of the key things that led to Dallas being OKC last year was like role players like stepping up and hitting shots. Like PJ Washington was out of his mind in that series last year, and other like Josh Green, other their role players were hitting timely shots. Like the Clippers have those guys. Like Bogdanovich, I thought that was like a huge trade. Like he has playoff experience. He was in Atlanta's run to the conference finals.
Yeah.
Like they have good shoot. Like DJJ, who was a starter on Dallas' team last year. Like
Norman Powell off the bench.
Powell's been there forever. Powell, like people were like trying to campaign him to like make like an all-star team this year. Which like they have good shooting, they have good ball handling. I know like the playoff Harden thing, but like I think his role is a little different on this year's team than like maybe with like the Sixers a couple years ago when they choked, and with those Rockets teams back in the day when they won like 60+ games. Like I think they ask less of him because of what they have around, but he's going to have to be better than he was in the playoffs if they would beat Denver, OKC, Lakers. But I think there's a lot of signs of like last year's Dallas with them.
I mean, I have them beating Denver. Yeah,
I think they could beat Denver like quite easily.
Yeah,
I'm low on them right now.
Yeah. No. I'm pretty low on Denver as well. I just
vibes are bad.
Yeah.
Is it the firing Malone stuff?
It's that, and they're just like kind of mid.
Like, their roster's been like severely flawed since they won the title.
Yeah, even that year, it just like obviously the league wasn't as strong, but like they just kind of stayed the same, and some guys have just gotten worse on the roster. Like Murray hasn't performed well for like almost 2 calendar years now. Michael Porter Jr. hasn't really improved. Christian Brown's improved.
Finally.
I mean, it's not like substantive to the point where like it's gonna make up for the lack of improvements by the other guys and the regression from Murray. And Jokic is Jokic, and so I wouldn't be surprised if they do end up winning the series just because of the matchup problems that he naturally poses. But I mean, I just don't see how the other creators on Denver, or the lack of creators on Denver, can match up against this Clippers defense really well. And then offensively, I mean, they have a really good offense, like with Jokic on the floor, but how are they going to survive those non-Jokic minutes in the playoffs? I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch. I have pretty low expectations. It kind of reminds me of not necessarily apples to apples, but like the Phoenix series with Minnesota last year going.
I've been thinking that all week.
Like, I feel like the Clippers could really end the series really quickly compared to what most people think.
My thing with the Nuggets, I know they have the best player in the world with Jokic and Jamal, who's been very proven in the playoffs. But what they don't have what the other like 5 or 6-ish contenders do have, they have not had a run this year where they've looked like a championship team. They never had like a 2-3 week stretch where like they looked like a scary team. The Celtics had that over the past 2 months. The Thunder have literally had that since like opening night. The Lakers had those couple months after the Luka trade when they had the best defense in the league. The Clippers have had that for the last 2 weeks. Cleveland has had their stretches this year. Denver has not had like a single like super dominant stretch all season long, where it's like this is like a scary team. Like Jokic has his crazy nights, but like never like a run of success that like I think you have to win a championship. That's what Dallas did last year over the last 2 months.
Yeah, they had that one little like 9 or 10 game winning streak in February, and then they got blown out by like some team. And then Jokic after the game said, "Well, we just beat up on non-500 teams."
Yeah,
and, like that's what they've been doing all season. They've just been like feasting on bad competition, and like whenever they've gone up against like a real title contender, or not even like a contender, like just like a formidable opponent, like they've looked out of sorts. So it's not looking good for them.
I wonder what their moves this offseason are. Like, are they actually doing this bit where like they're not trading MPJ
because of the Mizzou connection? Yeah. That's hilarious.
It's not Nico Harrison bad.
Like one game.
That would be nuts.
Yeah,
the Mizzou uniform.
I hope they don't run this roster back next year. Like, they are literally ruining Jokic's prime.
That
you joke about like, keep ruining like Mahomes' prime. Like this is so different.
That was going to be my next question to you guys. Like, okay, so you have Jokic. Let's take Jokic, Giannis.
Giannis is a totally different story, though.
Jokic, Giannis, Luka. Who would you bet on wins a title next or at all?
Oh, Luka.
Okay. Luka.
I mean, in the LA market, you're going to naturally attract free agents, and I think Rob Pelinka is like a bad GM, like just straight up. But
he traded for Luka Doncic. How can you say that?
I think there was I think he had a little stimulus helping him there.
Defense wins championships, guys.
He's a championship GM. Fair enough. But no, like LA, you're naturally going to get free agents. I mean, Luke is there. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you might get some other colluded trades. We might see like Anthony Edwards for Reeves straight up swap in like a year. So we don't know. I mean, Laker Nation, like I can't doubt the photoshops anymore. Like they could say whatever they want. And
they have all the power. I don't know how they pulled that off.
Yeah. I mean, we know.
Probably like Nico Harrison is like the Nick Adams of the NBA.
Yeah.
He's just committed to the bid. We're not sure if he actually thinks it's real.
Yeah. No, that press conference that's
the highlight of the NBA season.
Yeah.
No, our press conference that was not recorded.
Yeah.
Like the content we got out of that was better than like any game this season.
I'm like to every question he said defense wins championships.
The best was like he's like we looked like a championship team for those 2.5 quarters, like when Anthony Davis, like dude, like, and you didn't look like a championship team for the 13 playoff wins you had last spring.
Yeah, and wasn't it like the Rockets without like Jabari Smith, like that?
Yeah,
like,
and the Rockets defense, like
yeah,
we'll talk about the Rockets a little. I don't like buy them too much. But
it's a good.
How big gonna beat the Warriors?
Yeah,
they have no fear. Like Ime hates Curry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
like, and there's a lot of like I know this is like a first go round for the Rockets. But, like there's a lot of like familiarity. Like Brooks has played against the Warriors. Van Vliet played the finals against the Warriors. Ime coached against them. Who am I? Who's on the other side of that? Like the Warriors. Like some of the Warriors played the Rockets like years ago. Like it's.
Yeah. Amen held Steph to his worst career game ever.
Amen is legit.
Yeah. Yeah. If we want to talk about the Rockets, I mean. I have the Warriors in 7 in that series, just because it kind of reminds me of like the King series from a couple years ago. The Warriors are the Warriors were 6, the Kings were 3, and like it was a 7-game back and forth series with a couple blowouts here and there. But like in a 7-game series, I trust Steph, Jimmy, and even Draymond to get the job done against a kind of like a young team. But I mean, speaking of Houston, I mean, I think they have a good resume. Like I know people love to hate on the young team that like just recently made it, but like it's not like they've been a fluke. Like they have a great resume against good teams. Like they beat the Celtics this year.
Yeah, that was the Amen buzzer beater. That was like the 2 weeks where the Celtics like weren't playing real basketball.
They beat the Thunder a couple weeks ago. They swept the Cavs. I mean, they've beaten just about everyone that you could to make sure to solidify like a resume of being legit. And so I know there's like an experience factor. I know there's questions about what Green and Sengun can do in the playoffs. But they're good. Yeah.
The experience thing I put in like the same boat as like not to like harp on like on Duke or like put salt in the wound. Like people talk about like how like Duke like wasn't like they weren't ready for close games because they hadn't played in them. Mm-hmm. And like I pushed that narrative aside. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing. Like it's not their fault. They're blowing everybody out. I feel the exact same way about that take when people talk about the Thunder and the Rockets having like no deep playoff experience. Like who cares? Like they're good and they're good now. But like the back of my mind, I'm like, could this matter because people are talking about this? And that's exactly what unfolded with Duke and San Antonio, unfortunately, Liddy. But like, is there any?
Yeah, it shouldn't have been.
Do you think that's a real thing about the playoff experience?
It's a tricky thing because like I think
I don't know how to weigh it.
I feel like players.
Same with the Cavs, by the way.
I feel like players could fold just like under the bright lights. Like we've seen it. Like Jared Allen said it when the Cavs were in their first run. The lights were too bright, but at the same time, I feel like there's other factors that like have a stronger contribution to why a team wins or loses. Like you can point to experience for like a team like the Thunder last year, but they were playing Josh Giddey. They had no one in non-Chet minutes. You could point to like experience if Houston doesn't get the job done. And I don't expect them to win a championship or even come close this year, but like their primary scoring option is Jalen Green, who is in like year 4 and is still like pretty inefficient.
He's not gotten better in those 4 years.
Like he has stayed like he's a consistent model of inconsistency. I'll put it like that. And Sengun is at a down year scoring the ball as well. And like we've seen players of that archetype, not stereotype, but like we've seen players of that archetype fail in the playoffs. And so that's what I'm interested to see as well. So like I feel like experience, like obviously it could play a factor because like they're the least experienced team going up against the most experienced team. But at the same time, if they do like lose, I feel like there will be more things that rear its ugly head than just experience. Yeah.
I don't think Thunder should make like or the Rockets should make like that all-in trade. I think like giving up assets for like Durant would be like a total like a crippling move.
Yeah.
I'd rather see them run back this roster than like try to like make a hero trade, like try to get Durant or try to get like Giannis would be different because I think Giannis like could have like one more title in him with like the right like if they could trade for Giannis like that'd be perfect. Like trying to trade for like Durant or like someone like aging superstar would be a disaster.
Yeah, and I know they have this Suns' entire future, but I wouldn't even trade for a guy like Booker if I was them. I mean,
no, I'm with you on that.
I think a team,
I'm not a Booker guy.
Yeah, I think a team like them needs like a guy who could really like handle an on-ball load, like we see in the playoffs. Guys like Jokic, guys like Tatum, guys like Shea, like who could really burden like a huge level of creation. Who can attack the rim consistently, who can make shots and when it's necessary. And I think like a guy like Booker just kind of underwhelms in that capacity, especially as like an on-ball creator. He was so much better. Like the team was so much better when Chris Paul was there, when Booker was more so of like the two guard. Like he was the best player on the team, but he was more so coming off ball, coming off cuts. And I think that's the role where he succeeds in. And I don't think Houston necessarily has that. I feel like what they need is kind of like a rim pressuring guard or like a Giannis type.
Yeah.
I just don't know when that'll present itself, but I agree.
You never know.
I feel like it's hard to find those guys through like
Yeah.
trades. Like
That's the
those are
thing.
guys who have to draft.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade for Durant. I think I saw a report where they're kind of pivoting off that, just because. I mean, even if it is cheap, I mean, it just doesn't fit the timeline of what they're doing. Yeah,
I'm trying to think like who like could be available. Like not like Embiid would be a joke. They also don't need a center. Like
people are always available, I guess.
Yeah. Like Anthony Edwards could ask for a trade here, and would be surprised.
Yeah,
that would be the perfect player.
I'm trying to think of people who missed the playoffs this year.
Devin Booker.
Devin Booker, yeah.
Booker, he sold in that playoffs. In the finals, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, the trade market's interesting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
But I think the consensus is like, if the Rockets win a title, this won't be the core. Like, there's a move to be made for them to get to that point.
Oh yeah.
I think Giannis is the most likely one. And we'll see if he asks. I know Brooklyn's the other team that's interested in Giannis. But I don't know why Brooklyn keeps like going in this cycle.
Yeah, like they can't commit to
like 4 or 5 years where like they trade for like some of like the best players in the league, and then like tear it down and like do the same thing again.
And then they pull the plug on the rebuild too quick. Yeah,
it's that's wild.
Yeah.
What are the other team in New York? The Knicks.
Yeah. What about the Knicks?
What's their plan? Like they beat the Celtics.
Are the Pistons sort of just like the happy to be here team?
I feel like they are, but at the same time, they can easily beat the Knicks.
You think so?
I think so.
I picked the Knicks to win the series.
I picked the Knicks as well. Like I feel like it's going to be like a scrappy 6-game series where the outcome's never in doubt. But like it's going to be Knicks in 6, and then they get like blown out by Boston. That's what I think is going to happen. Yeah. But like the Knicks are just so mid. Like what can I say? Like they went all in. Like they mortgaged their entire future not for a superstar, but for Mikal Bridges, just so they can like run this like Villanova like gimmick. And
then immediately gave up.
They immediately traded Dante DiVincenzo for Cat. And I mean, we've seen Cat in the playoffs, like next to Rudy, be viable on defense, playing the 4, and he is better at the 5 because of what he could do, spacing the ball on offense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's probably the worst like defender, like probably the worst center defender in the playoffs. I mean, it's just pretty abysmal, and like it like you see it every year. You see it in the Knicks high leverage games. I mean, they haven't won like a single game that matters in the regular season. Like I think they were like 0 for like 13 or something like that.
Against the Thunder, Cavs, Celtics. I don't know if they beat the Rockets. I think they beat the Rockets.
It was some other team too that they had a bad track record against. And so yeah, like and I think that shows. I mean, they're just not that good. And they mortgaged their future for non-creators, and that leaves like a pretty huge like load on Brunson's shoulders, which I think he can handle, which he did last year. He was pretty fantastic, but there were injuries that plagued them, and I think that it's just not a great roster. Yeah, and I think that the Pistons, I don't think they're going to beat them, but like it's going to be an interesting series. Yeah.
I texted you last July when that contract was announced and said objectively hilarious that Jalen Brunson is taking an $113 million pay cut to never make the NBA Finals.
That doesn't get talked about enough. Like why, like him taking like so like I know it helped them get Cat eventually and helped with other deals, but like I think it gets thrown under the radar. Like how like insane that was for him. But,
yeah,
like,
taking like generational wealth pay cut for a non-contending roster. Like
I thought last year's Knicks team was scarier.
they were
Not scarier, but like
they were better built. They were more annoying to play. Like their offensive rebound stuff last year, they were first in the league. I've written down somewhere here. Last year they averaged like 13 offensive rebounds a game, which was like by far like the most in the league. And now they're like 18th in offensive rebounds. I think they're the worst. Last year they were the slowest team in pace. This year they're up a little bit. The Pistons are actually a pretty good pace team, which I think like if the Pistons can play their game, like and they're running, making the Knicks run in transition more and run with them in transition, I think that could help them. But like last year's Knicks team, and Hart was getting like 15 rebounds a game and just flying everywhere, and like defenders were just like leaving DiVincenzo open. Like it was annoying. And like Hart, who's now on your team, like that was like a well built team. I thought. Like, I didn't think they were going to beat the Celtics last year, but like I thought they were better than what they are right now.
More competitive at least against some of the top teams.
Yeah.
I think Cade has a lot more to gain than lose this series.
He doesn't have
to win. Like the Cade narrative is gonna go crazy.
Yeah, I don't think he has anything to lose. I mean, the Pistons haven't won a playoff game.
Won a playoff game since like 08.
Yeah, like I feel like if he just wins one game, like he's set. Like he has a PR tour this offseason. Like he has whatever he wants. I think this kind of like the Rockets, but to a lesser extent, it was kind of like a table setting year for Detroit. And then this offseason is where they really build upon that and like could take the next step. But like I don't think they have expectations, but at the same time, I feel like they could beat the Knicks. Yeah,
it would. I hope that like not so the Celtics can play them because like I think
it'll make for a more interesting playoffs. Yeah,
yeah, and like I like to see first round upsets. We don't get them like very often.
Yeah,
like I think last year was like very chalky in the first, and I mean outside like the Heat beating the Bucks 2 years ago.
I wouldn't count the Suns as like they were favorited against the Wolves, but I wouldn't count that.
But the Wolves at home court, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because Game 4 was in Phoenix, and then with the Grizzlies Lakers 2 years ago was another example of like that was the 7 like favored over the 2.
Yeah,
but that Grizzlies team was totally
that was so predictable. Like,
and Steven Adams went down too, and then you're expecting Jaren to grab rebounds. I mean,
and like the Ja was that the year Ja got hurt? I think Ja didn't play at the end of that. Maybe
I think that was the gun year. Like,
no, I thought they were both gun years.
Yeah, that can't decide.
Well, now he's doing his own. I don't know what he's doing now.
Yeah, the grenade.
That was the gun year because I was in Memphis like the day of Game 1.
Yeah, and the year before is like when they were a fun story. The year like they lost to the Warriors. I picked them to beat the Warriors in that.
They could have beat the Warriors if Ja didn't get hurt. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and they also like, totally blew Game 1, which was bad. I picked them to win that series and I felt pretty good about it. And then maybe if they win that one, then the Suns go to the finals, and we don't have that Chris Paul meme.
Who are the? And I know this is kind of stemming from us talking about the Knicks, but who are the teams that their windows closed with their current core, but maybe like casual fans don't really know it yet?
Milwaukee. They're the worst team in the playoffs. Like not the worst team, but they're really bad.
I feel like people know it with Milwaukee though. Like they're playing Kyle Kuzma. Like
he's so bad. Yeah. The Bucks fans hate him so much.
Yeah. I mean, they're playing Kyle Kuzma. I feel like the Knicks, like they don't really have a window.
The Knicks are out of moves though. What are they going to do? The fans like, oh, we'll trade for Giannis. Trade what?
I think Denver would probably be the one where most people don't know that it's over. And I feel like Denver fans like know it's over because they've been campaigning for MVP more than talking about like their team's like chances at winning. Like I'm so locked in on like this like potential title run right now. Like
Yeah,
I don't
as you
really
should.
care about MVP anymore, but they've been campaigning for MVP. And like I remember because I did the same thing for Russell Westbrook because I knew we weren't winning a thing in 2017, but I knew that we could win MVP. So I get the campaign, but when you're campaigning this hard for MVP before the playoff starts, that means you don't really have it.
It's over. What about Indiana? I don't think like they're not like they're.
I mean, I love Halliburton.
I love them. Do you think they can beat the Cavs? I don't want to like dive into like the matches of that series, but like
I don't think so. I don't think so.
really, that's
I
fine.
feel like
I have them beating the Cavs.
you have them beating the Cavs. I feel like they're both
That's
elite.
for Cleveland.
I feel like they're both elite offenses, and the Cavs have a better offense, and then the Cavs have the defensive personnel to really like at least get some stops, while the Pacers are kind of just like a walkthrough for defense.
You don't
Like,
think they'll attack Garland and Mitchell? Garland
I,
especially.
I think they can, and then they'll run into Evan Mobley at the nail. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's just if they space and shoot. I mean, it all comes down to if like Nemhart can like go crazy like they did in the playoffs last year, and
Yeah.
what Neesmith can do. I think they're pretty slept on. Like, I bet the Pacers to win the East at 70-1 a few months ago.
I feel like that's good odds. Like,
It's like 28-1 now.
let's say they beat like the.
I made that bet shorting the Cavs.
Yeah, and then like let's say Tatum rolls his ankle, like it could happen.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
yeah. I feel like that's good odds. Like they're an interesting team. I mean, their offense is playoff resilient. They proved that last year.
I thought they played the Cavs well in the regular season.
Yeah. No, and they played the Celtics well in the playoffs last year. Like
It was the closest sweep of all time.
Yeah. It was like
One, three,
what
four.
was the point differential in that series? It was like 8, right? Like
No, the Celtics won by a lot in game 2. Game
Yeah.
1 was overtime. Game 3, the Celtics won by 3, and then game 4, the Celtics also won by 3.
Yeah, no, it was an interesting series. I feel like Carlisle's offenses are pretty general, like they generally hold up well.
I think Carlisle like against Atkinson, like I think that's Indiana that could have the coaching edge. And Atkinson's had a great year.
Yeah,
Like I think that Carlisle could have him ready to go.
I like the Pacers a lot too. I just feel like the Cavs have more talent, and like in that case, I would pick the talent. But like I could see it. That
would be a fun upset. I mean, as a Celtics fan, I'd love for them to play Indiana in the conference finals again. I don't know. I'm just pushing this narrative that like this Cavs team will like end short of the conference finals, and like game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals when like the Indiana TNT is there will be at game 1 will be in Boston no matter who.
I would agree if the East wasn't so weak. Like,
yeah, it's like Philadelphia's fault.
Yeah.
And then Orlando, who's like supposed like I thought Orlando was in the mix with like a 1 seed before the year.
I think Orlando's terrible. Like,
I think they should fire
Mosley.
Yeah. What they did this year was like inexcusable. How bad they were on offense.
There's like a lot of anti-Paula stuff now, right?
Yeah, I think you're like the president of that club on the call.
I plead the fifth on some of the takes, but yeah, I mean, let's talk about Orlando for really briefly. I mean, they're gonna get swept by the Celtics, but like
they could win one game.
They have one of the worst offenses like I've ever seen. Like of the modern era, like their best 3-point shooter in 2025 is a 35% 3-point shooter. I mean, I feel like the Celtics could just run them off the floor by the end of the third quarter.
Like, how many points does Boston need to score to like win a game?
100. If they get to 105, they should.
Yeah, I was gonna say somewhere in the between 110 and like 109. Like
yeah,
and like that's like one like big like Celtics quarter like
yeah.
They score like 36 points in one quarter and it's like.
And with the way Orlando goes on dry spells, like yeah, like you saw it against the Hawks, like they almost choked that.
Like Franz is like a joke.
There's like
his jump shot is
so Corey Joseph was on the 2014 Spurs and he's the starting point guard of this team.
They've been talking about him as like a savior because he stabilized their lineups.
The Celtics lost a game in Orlando, and I think it was in December. It was like a really annoying game. Like Orlando's like missing guys also.
Yeah,
and like the Celtics were without. Like, I think Jalen was out. Porzingis was still out. Drew, I think, was out also.
Suggs was healthy, I think.
Yeah, and like they were just like diving for loose balls, and like it was just like that's the only way they can win like one game.
Yeah.
Is there like a logical like move to fix this though? Like.
Just
shooters are like probably the easiest thing.
Spend so much money on KCP.
Yeah, sign every shooter on the market. I guess. Get a point guard. Have Paolo play more as like a play finisher type rather than just having him straight barrel and initiate offense. Like have him like in the post more on post ups because I feel like he could thrive in that role rather than his handle's pretty loose right now, and so. On a lot of these drives, like when gap help is sent to him, like it's just a turnover. or like he gets flustered and like puts up a bad shot. And like I feel like if you have a point guard, like not Corey Joseph, to a real point guard to kind of stabilize things, like it could work. But
I think it's coaching because I don't think the personnel is like off. Like there's good
It's
players on this team.
yeah.
There are good players.
And I also think Suggs being out is like
Yeah.
a nail in the coffin. Yeah.
But their development is weird. It's like Franz has not gotten better this past year. Paolo really is the same. Cole Anthony's is good. Like they have young talent. Like I don't know. Like, what's the deal? Like Anthony Black. Like Jed Howard was a first round pick.
I don't know what. Yeah.
Like Wendell Carter, like he's been there a few years now. He was in
He's
the
bad now, but like he had like 5 years, I think. Yeah.
I don't know. It's I think it's a coaching thing. Last year was like this fun story. They were the 5 seed. You thought they were going to take another jump this year, and it's the same. It's worse actually.
Exactly.
41 wins and in the play-in.
Yeah, they're one of the worst offenses in the modern era. Yeah.
Can I throw another window closed team out there?
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Why did they trade Towns?
I know. I like that. I like that trade.
You were an advocate of that trade, but like
Yeah.
you thought that was better for like their long term.
I feel like it's better for their long term because like
They're not drawing free agents to Minnesota.
they're the Kevin Durant team.
So wait, Phoenix is going to sign up for Julius Randle and Rob Dillingham for Kevin
Yeah.
Durant.
I mean,
what is
sounds like a
Minnesota
matter
moving? What is Minnesota moving for Kevin Durant at this point?
I mean,
It'll be Randle and
I think the Durant market's going to be pretty cheap, like compared to
Okay.
what people are going to expect. Just because of like age, he has like 1 year left on his deal. And like they're probably going to accommodate where he wants to go. He loves Ant, and so I don't know. I feel like they can make something happen for cheap.
I just don't think that's a championship. I don't think that's like a move that's going to put them like close to the title.
It's weird because like I don't like Minnesota, but like I love the way that they've built out their roster. But at the same time, they don't have a number 2 like on offense.
They don't have like their depth is good. Like they have like probably some of the best depth in like the league right now. But the problem is like it's not like a consistent like core. They have one scorer. They have some really good defensive players with Nickeil Alexander-Walker and McDaniels and Gobert, who's won multiple defensive players of the year. But like Conley, like is still
Conley's washed. That's why they're
traffic cone on defense. And Randall, playoff Randall is. It's a joke. He needs to be good for them to win that series.
Yeah.
And then like DiVincenzo is nice.
It has everything.
I think they can make the conference finals pretty easily.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know what it's gonna take to juice that team up to like a championship contender because I really do like most of that roster. It just missing a little like an extra gear.
How old is Ant?
Ant's 23.
So like that's not that window's not closing. Like, but like they need to keep that roster competitive.
I made a bet with a friend about 3 weeks ago at this point that starting this year, the T-Wolves wouldn't win a title for the next 4 years.
Last year was really their year, and they
were scared. I wasn't like as scared as something like for Denver. Like once Denver lost,
it was guaranteed.
But like,
I guess we'll never know.
that was Kevin O'Connor was an idiot with that tweet. Because Celtics lost 1 game. You know the tweet I'm talking about?
Which one?
After the Celtics lost game 2 to the Heat, when the Heat shot crazy. Kevin O'Connor tweeted like, if the Celtics play the Nuggets in the finals, it'll be a sweep. Maybe.
I remember that.
It was like one of those like shocking.
The Nuggets weren't that good for him to.
Oh, and then the Nuggets lost to Minnesota in the second round. The Celtics lost like 3 games the entire play.
The thing with Minnesota is like I feel like they pose good matchup problems for contenders, but they're not matchup resistant against everyone, and that's the issue.
Yeah.
Like last year, they beat Denver, but they got like swept by Dallas, and I don't necessarily think that's because they were worse, but they were just a terrible matchup for Dallas. Like Dallas was a terrible matchup for them, while Denver was a favorable matchup just because of like the personnel that they had.
I thought they did like a bad job with McDaniels. Like, the teams like need like because they kind of just like stick McDaniels in the corner on offense. But like for some reason, like they didn't attack Luka because Dallas would hide Luka on McDaniels in that series last year, and like Minnesota was fine with it. Instead of just like switching and attacking Luka, they were just trying to like have Edwards just play hero ball, which is why I'm picking the Lakers to beat them. I don't know if you.
I was just gonna ask.
The Lakers are going to die for Ant to play hero ball for 6 games.
I still don't know who I'm. It might come back.
I have Lakers. I have Lakers Thunder in the conference finals.
I lean Lakers right now. Lakers in 7. I feel like it's going to go the distance. I feel like they have strong advantages over Minnesota, and Minnesota has strong advantages over them. I feel like Gobert is going to have a big series actually, like against Jackson Hayes. Like it should be one where Nas Reed's going to have a big series too. Yeah,
I thought I didn't even mention Nas earlier.
Yeah. So I'm leading Lakers in 7, but if you ask me tomorrow, my mind might change.
Do you think would your opinion of the Lakers change if they had Mark Williams?
If they had Mark Williams, not really, because he's really bad on defense.
And
he's injured.
I think people were selling. I think he's a good player. I think he's a million times better than Jackson Hayes.
Oh yeah.
Is he really that bad on defense?
He's pretty bad on defense.
Okay, he was a great defender in college.
Yeah, it's been the injury that kind of sapped him too.
And what'd you say, Harry?
He was playing like Wake Forest.
Dude,
his rookie year was fine on defense. It just he's gotten hurt, like less like energy. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like I don't know if he was going to be what like Dallas, like Lively was for Dallas last year. Lively was really good in the playoffs.
He's not that level of flop.
Yeah. That's what the Lakers need, and like they don't have. Like Hayes like tries. Hachimura is good. He's not like a lob threat.
They have like one like vertical spacer on the team.
I'm so interested to see how the Lakers like operate after this year, because like you only have LeBron for so much longer, but like you still have Luka.
LeBron's you switch it up.
I can't wait for him to get the Lakers to get swept by OKC in the conference.
No, I could put out my
him for somehow to get blamed for it.
I could put out my Drake gimmick tweets.
With that, if they lose to the Lakers, they lose to Luka, the Thunder. Like how would that be like worse than like watching the Chiefs like lose a Super Bowl?
If
they lose to, like LeBron and the OVO crew goes down.
Yeah, I might hibernate off Twitter again. I can't lie. Like
you were off Twitter for a little while this year.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't think that's gonna happen at all. But I mean, I'm simply not gonna entertain. I'm not gonna entertain it. I'm not gonna entertain it.
That's smart.
I'll actually do something. I'll cope like by mass tweeting and saying they suck anyways, or like some nonsense. Yeah.
I got the way like the Celtics lost to the Cavs. I would be like pissed. If they lost, there's no shame. There's no shame in losing to the Thunder.
They lost to the Heat off Magnet Balls. Like
that was so annoying. Yeah. But if the Celtics lose the finals to the Thunder, I don't think there's like any shame in that.
Oh yeah, no.
Thunder like one of the best teams in history. Like the Celtics won it last year. Like I also like I've been joking the last couple of weeks. Like if NBA fans are rooting for parity, they should root for the Celtics to win the finals, because like the Thunder could rack off like 6 of these. You probably know that deep down. Like there's like a non-zero chance the Thunder win like 5 titles in a row.
They're gonna have the Heat pick unprotected next year, and like I'm hoping for a top 3 like selection.
They could have Philadelphia's pick this year, which could be in the top 10.
Derek Peterson.
Yeah.
Like the Thunder, like, and these players the Thunder are still ahead of schedule.
Yeah, they shouldn't be this good already.
They were the 1 seed last year. Like I don't know, they were pretty highly favored to win the West.
They weren't highly favored last year.
They were the favorites going into the second.
Playoffs. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll be interesting. I feel like I have the Thunder Celtics as well. I feel like
I have Thunder over Celtics.
I have Thunder in about 6. I would say right now I'm feeling that. I think I said that in the preseason, so that's
that was mine in the preseason was Thunder Celtics. I mean, it was a pretty easy.
That'd be one of the best finals matchups in a while.
It'll be the best in like since 2016.
Yeah.
That Suns Bucks was
Suns Bucks was fine, but it's not this.
But these are like clearly the 2 best teams in the league, and like two of
the best ever. Yeah.
Like how often you get 2 60-win teams with like Hall of Famers on the court? It's like that would be cinema. And like the Thunder win it, like credit to them. Like they built a great team. Like they have the MVP. Like it's not like, again, I've said a couple times, there's no shame losing to that team. Like,
I feel like if we're going through a bracket right now, I would say Thunder beat whoever comes out of the play-in. The Cavs beat whoever comes out of the play-in. Celtics beat the Magic.
I'm with you on all that.
I feel like the Knicks are going to beat the Pistons.
I agree.
Feel like I have the Pacers beating the Bucks, and I'm probably going to put like a bunch of money on that.
Are the Pacers favored in that series?
Yeah, the numbers come down a little since like Dame's like.
They have to be since the Dame blood clot stuff, right?
Dame's apparently he's going to play.
No, Dame's coming back, so I feel like
that's what I meant. Even like with the blood clot stuff, even though he's playing like
on FanDuel, where you can make every moment more. You can get the Pacers at -164 to win the series.
Okay, I
Or
feel
it's
like
like a series alt spread, like Pacers like -2.5, or they win like in 4 or 5, you get it plus 250. Might be
so, yeah, I have the Pacers winning that, and then I have Cavs beating the Pacers in about 6 games.
Yeah, I have Pacers over Cavs there.
Yeah, 7
Yeah.
games or 6.
What's up?
Is it a 7-game series?
Pacers in 7. Like they'll win a road game 7 for the second straight year.
Nice. And then I
Oh,
have,
that was the only thing that spoiled my perfect playoff bracket last year. I was
Okay, yeah, that's
perfect
fair
in
enough.
everything except for that one series.
yeah. I mean, the Knicks got injured, like they
Yeah.
fell apart. And then I have the Celtics sweeping the Knicks. Might be in 3 games. That's how much I disrespect the Knicks.
You say it, I believe it.
And then I have the Celtics beating the Cavs in about 6. Yeah. And then out west, I have Thunder in 4. Obviously, I have. I'll say Clippers. I want to be bold and say Clippers in 5.
I have Clippers in 5.
Yeah. You know what? Screw
Good
it.
check,
I'll
but I
say
put you
Clippers in
for
5. I'll say Clippers.
Gentlemen sweep. They go up 3-0, win 2
Yeah.
in Denver, and then win at the Intuit Dome.
Yeah, and then they'll run the narrative all off season that Jokic still hasn't beaten a 50-win playoff team.
When they won the title, they beat 2 7 seeds and an 8 seed.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, it was
Or
like
two 8s and a 7.
yeah, all like 40-win teams. Yeah. And then I have Thunder beating the Clippers in a competitive 6. And then I have on the other side of the bracket, I have Lakers in 7 against Minnesota, Warriors in 7 against the Rockets.
I have Rockets over Warriors in 7.
In 7. Yeah. And then I have Lakers in 7 against the Warriors. And then I have I want to say Thunder in 4, but I'm not going to be that disrespectful. So I'll say Thunder. I'll say Thunder in 5 against the Lakers. And then I have Thunder and I'll say Thunder in 7 against the Celtics.
We're very similar.
I'll give respect to the Celtics.
We have not had. I know we're about to wrap up, but we have not had a lot of like first round game 7s in the last like 5 years.
Yeah, no.
Since like I think 2021 or 2020. But
we might get a couple on that.
I'm hopeful we get like 2 or 3 because last year we had Cavs Magic, which was like a fake game 7. I don't think we had any.
That was like an NBA TV game 7.
Because literally, it's the first like Mike Breen Magic game in like since like 2012.
Yeah.
I don't think we had any in 22 or 23.
We had Warriors Kings where Steph.
Oh yeah, that was when Steph had the game 7 points.
That was a mauling.
Days.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the last
I'm
one.
hopeful we get. I think Rockets. We could get it there. And Rockets Warriors. We could get in Lakers Wolves. We could get in Knicks Pistons. Like I mean, want a long first round series while this.
I don't think it's going to happen, but Nuggets Clippers also has.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if Jokic puts up these insane stat lines and
if Dame comes back, the Bucks Pacers could also be competitive.
Yeah, hey, how about every series goes 7 except for the 2-1 seed?
Except the top 4.
Heat Cavs.
Heat Cavs. Yeah.
Why not? Why
No. I want the Heat to lose today so we can get the pick.
Okay, then who they playing? The Hawks Cavs.
The Hawks.
Young.
Yeah.
Trae Young scores 50. Risa Shea plays competent. Kongwu, you know what?
And then you woke up.
Yeah. It's like the you're probably too young for this, but the KD Dwayne Wade dream.
I have.
You have seen that. Okay.
I'm not that much younger.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't know. That was like 2012 when they were playing the.
Yeah.
Finals.
Yeah. After the finals. Yeah.
Yeah. I was back when the Thunder. Now it's a whole new generation of young Thunder fans.
Yeah.
That was the Skip Bayless tweet after like game 1, right?
Like the nightmare, like it was something like that.
It's a Gatorade commercial. You look it up.
Okay.
I have like T Wade, like
he would wake up in the night.
There was a tweet that was like, like KD and Westbrook like gonna be too much for LeBron.
I mean,
he could have
tweeted that like earlier this season. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, we won game 1 of that series, and we broke game 2. Yeah.
Game 2, he got in a big start, and then that was when it was 2-3-2, and he won 3 straight home.
The Thunder were favored to win that series. Yeah.
Yeah, when they had home court, they were playing well. They just beaten like an unbelievable.
They beat the Lakers in that playoff run.
The Spurs won that was a shortened season. The Spurs won 50-12, and they had won like 20 straight games before they lost 4 straight to the Thunder. Ibaka was nuts in that series.
They beat the Mavs, who were the defending champions.
Yeah, that was first round. Durant had a game winner in game 1.
Yeah.
Some fun times.
Fun.
Good postseason 2012.
That was when the mom made pizza rolls meme.
Oh yeah, that was what a time. Great shout, Pranav.
Yeah, when Harden hit that step back against rookie Kawhi. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. You were probably hyped.
Yeah,
that was like peak. That's like Harden's like best playoff moment.
Yeah, I mean, he had some nice runs in Houston, and then he had that 10-point game against San Antonio.
That was
Yeah.
the worst games by a superstar ever.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we wrap this up?
We do this again like later in the playoffs, like
In the playoffs, yeah.
I'm
I mean,
down. Dude, like
before the
right,
finals. Before the finals, yeah.
dude,
Yeah,
right now, I'm
conference
just
finals.
doing like on this show right now. It's just like we don't start.
Wait,
full-
Liddy, did you give your finals pick?
Oh, Thunder over Celtics
way to be bold.
in 7 games.
So we all have Thunder over Celtics. I feel like it's going to be.
If things like if the Thunder look shaky and like they're pushed to 7 by the Clippers and pushed to 7 by like the Lakers or the Rockets or whatever, then I might go the other way.
My take will be the Thunder get out of the West in under 15 games. Yeah.
So they would go 12. Yeah,
They
I would
lose
say
no more
if
than
you said the
20.
over under like a 15.5, I'd be tempted to take under.
Probably take the under.
They sweep the first round, go 6, go
Because
5.
they haven't lost. They've only lost on back-to-backs this year. Like they've lost once when it was a non-back-to-back.
Yeah. I do have to go, Liddy. So this has been fun.
Yeah, we'll do this again maybe after the first round in a couple weeks.
Yeah, appreciate you guys for having me. Yeah.
For sure. This has been season 6 bonus episode of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bit Stealers, and we'll see you guys next time.